What's up, good people? This your boy, our work Geo, coming to you with video number three. Uh, I decided to film this while I'm on break at work, work from home. So this kind of leads me into the topic of my video for today. Doing less gets you more out of life. When you hear that, you might just think face value doing less. Like, do you mean slacking off, like not taking care of business? Like, what does that really mean, right? But I will, be honest with you, break it down and, kind of just address some of the experiences that I've had because what I've noticed is just what I feel like I want to bring here is not only just my personal view on certain things in terms of just how I see it, but also applying, my own experiences to it just to make it real, because I think people need to be able to feel like this is relatable, not just someone walking them through some steps that they might have just found online. Sometimes you need to hear how other people, or the person presenting this information has dealt with certain things or still dealing with it. In my case, I'm currently in these situations. So let's get into it. I'm basically, an employee at a job, but I also do a multitude of other things, raising my son. I have a brand, a fresh paint company. You'll hear me mention that every video. The title of, well, not the title, but the name of the channel is Painted Fresh Daily. So, it's just a part of me. But, I do that. I do music. I record my own music here at the house. I got a studio set up. So I've been doing that, for years. I've had my setup since like 2010, you know what I mean? And so this is like always been a part of me. But I will say one thing that I had to realize is there was a point where I was just doing a little too much. I still freelance my art, but I'm more selective with that. People hit me up for logos, different things like that. I have to be more mindful of how much time and attention I give these other things because I'm only one person. And, it's easy to get spread thin when your intentions are good, but you're just not attacking the things that really matter, or at least putting something ahead of something else. A lot of us, we tend to just see the big picture and want to just attack everything at once. And, one of the things I'm sure you probably heard is you have 100% of yourself, right? But if you give 10% to something, another 15% over here, 20% over there, like nothing's really getting your full attention. And nothing probably ever will just have your complete undivided attention. I mean, the more that you walk in a certain path and you see success from that and it speaks to you and you figure out a way to make it all work together, it starts to blend and feel like you're just putting energy in one place. But until you get there, one of the things I had to realize is I have to stop putting so much attention into so many different things and just start to size that down and put my focus into fewer things and be able to put more energy into it. So that's like a two-timer, somebody dating a whole bunch of different people versus dating one person, really committing to that person, that relationship, and building from there. It's different when you have multiple people you're entertaining. I mean, you only get 24 hours a day. So how much time are you really investing in people? And that leads me to my other point, having 24 hours a day. We all get that, right? But some of us, most of us supposed to sleep 8 hours. If we work a full-time job, that's another 8 hours. And so that leave you with 8 hours, to factor in commute time. You got to eat, going to the restroom, raising your kids, all these different things chip away at that other 8 hours. So you have to really put in perspective, how much time am I really investing in things that matter? And that's why you have to do constant inventory. Like myself, I've always had good intentions, but I noticed that I've tried to attack too many things at one time, at least in the past I have. And it's a struggle even now, but I'm noticing I get more traction out of life in general and see more results when I scale back and I just become more selective and make it more about the value and not about the quantity. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the quality and not the quantity. You know what I mean? And again, these are all things that we've probably heard, but when you hear it come out a certain way, maybe it clicked different. So I would hope that whoever's watching this video is clicking for you a little better. But from a person from experience, walking that path of meaning well, wanting to get things done, it's just not possible with only 24 hours a day and just having these hopes of what you would want out the day, but not really attacking it the way that you should. That puts you in a category of being a jack of all trades and a master of none. And to be honest with you, that don't really get you ultimately to where you're trying to get to the most efficient way. So a lot of time wasted when you want to just pour into a lot of different things at one time, thinking that you really just learning how to multitask and just get it all done. You may, but it's still not the most efficient way to go about it. And from personal experience, working from home is one of the things that I think speaks to everything else I do. And just to break that down, it's like I save myself commute time. I save myself funds going into, lunches and buying out and buying a wardrobe to go out and wear, you know what I'm saying, to go to work, whatever it might be. And also protecting my energy, going out into the world to go to a job. Somebody can upset me in traffic, and now I carry that to my job. Getting up and being in my office, same place I sleep, get up, get to it. Of course, I freshen up, take a shower, but I'm just saying, like, I don't have to worry about an extensive wardrobe for work purposes. That saves me money. And then when it come to lunch breaks and, taking breaks like that, I mean, yeah, I'm on my break right now and I'm choosing to do this video, but saving money on food. If I choose to, eat something, I'm saving money. But leading me to my next point, filming this video, making things work for you, realizing like, okay, I got to work. The work don't really speak to what my passions and my purpose is, but how can I make that work for me? So in my case, on my break, I'm filming a YouTube video, which I think is pouring more into my purpose and helping me indirectly further my message as far as what my brand represents, and just establishing my community that way. So I feel like there's value there in me approaching it this way versus going out into the world, clocking in at a job I already don't feel like it's speaking to me in terms of what, my goals are. But doing that job, and then having to commute back home, leaving myself open to be annoyed, bothered, energy thrown off by just the different things we experience, just sitting in traffic and being able to say, you know what, I get up, I get to it, do my job or whatever. And then even while I'm working, I still do some things related to design. I keep my laptop handy. I get a few breaks throughout the day. I might do a little bit of research, order thank you cards that I want to put into my merch bags, just constantly doing research and, not really spreading myself thin in a way where I feel like if something needs to happen, I'm doing it in a way that speaks to me and it kind of comes to me. It attracts itself, or I attract it to me rather than me stop what I'm doing over here and run over here and try to do this and do that and, end up tripping myself up and not getting things done. So I would encourage anybody, if you feel like you went through your list of things that you need to get done and there's just certain things that have to work together, figure out a way to merge it, blend it, see if you can, you might not work from home, but how can you maybe take some of the things with you and be able to do some research or, post something on your lunch break instead of just relaxing, watching Netflix, whatever it is we do, and I understand you might just want to take that time to reset, but it's all a mindset. I actually personally like the feeling of getting something done rather than like sitting around on idle time, knowing that the sooner I get to where I'm trying to get to, the more I get to enjoy it and, celebrate my victories with the people I care about. So it's just really a perspective, man. Once you like can see it that way, you understand that certain things that might have mattered when you had that other mindset really just don't have room in your life no more. So when I say, do less to get more out of life, I'm not saying literally don't lift a finger, don't do nothing. But to some degree, I'm saying put certain things down. You got to be able to put certain things down that really don't serve a purpose for you, because we'll see time go by and not really still get results and get discouraged and feel like, oh, it's just not in my cards, but no, the culprit is being comfortable in all the things you're doing, thinking, with that illusion that, okay, I'm making sure all this stuff get handled. I'm doing everything I got to do. And if you can, like I said, figure out a way to make it work for you with your situation. Like we got to provide, we got to work. So it is what it is. But what can you do in between that where it pours back into you? When I record music, I learned how to record my music years ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm honestly an engineer as well. But all these different hats, it sounds crazy to be like, yeah, I'm a graphic artist. I do music. Then I got a clothing brand. it's a lot of different stuff going on. So you just kind of, when you hear that, you think, man, how can you possibly do all of that? But I literally designed my website from home on my internet, work from home, same Wi-Fi connection, record my music, which is only just a few steps away. I make my samples here, for my merch, take pictures of it, whatever needs to happen. And then I outsource accordingly. I do what I need to do when it's time to ship things out, you know what I mean? Or place an order for a larger quantity. I go through my vendors or whatnot, but I make my samples and see what it look like and make my own clothes really. So it's like a one-man machine, and I encourage people to have that perspective and put themselves in a position to win, because it's not too late for us, man. Like, we just need to do inventory. We need to slap that fresh paint on ourselves. We need to figure out what's in the way and get rid of it. And it's a tough, uncomfortable situation a lot of times, because we get so used to certain things, certain people. But even entertaining people, sometimes you got to entertain less people. You have to entertain less things, less vices, less clutter. The less you focus on, the more you get out of things. Less is more. So I just can't stress that enough, that it's so important that you look at things in your life and be like, you know what, this is just too much. I need to make some cuts. I need to get rid of some things so I can think with a clear head and actually get to the success that I know I deserve. So these are just the little things that I feel like get overlooked. A lot of people don't really put this stuff in perspective. And we just think it's about waking up at 5, hitting the gym, eating healthy, and writing down affirmations and whatever else, we hear and we see online and people talk about. And I'm not shunning none of that. I'm not dissing it. I feel like a lot of that stuff is important, but it's not as vital as like scaling back and really just looking at, okay, before I even get started on anything, am I just doing too much? Like, that's the question you need to ask yourself. Am I just doing too much? And I want to know in the comments. I always encourage anybody watching these videos, hit me with a like. I definitely appreciate that. That lets the algorithm know people are engaging. Hit my comments up. I appreciate that even more. The more, I see activity in the comments, I'm definitely going to reply. And again, the algorithm spreads the word, lets people know, hey, this is a channel over here gaining some traction. These people over here building a community. You get what I'm saying? And I'm going to take care of y'all. Don't worry about it. Trust me. I got you. Because like I said, man, my website is live, but I'm not really pushing it. I'm not really letting people know, that my website is available, and anybody that want to support it. Yeah, I want people to support, it's a business, but at the same time, I'm looking for a certain type of supporter, and when I say that, I'm saying people who really understand this message of what fresh paint is, that it's never too late for us, and that we can apply that fresh paint on a daily basis, though. That's where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? Every day is a coat of fresh paint. Every day is an opportunity to do something different than you did the day before. So if you are already halfway through the day, if you're watching this video and the sun on the way down, hey, you still got tomorrow to get up and say, you know what, I'm taking what I got from Painted Fresh Daily, and I'm about to, rejuvenate. I can't even talk. I'm tripping. But I'm going to rejuvenate myself. I'm going to put myself in a position to where, I'm going to start doing inventory on the things I have going on and deciding what really, deserves a spot right now. And not to say completely get rid of things, completely put things down. At some point, it might make sense to reintroduce it. But for now, you might just have to realize, man, let me start getting rid of some things. Another thing I'm gonna leave you with, when it comes to like the eating things, I was just talking to my boy, and he in the gym right now. He's trying to hit some of his fitness goals, and like I told him, less is more on the eating too, bro. Like, I apply it to that. There's only a handful of things that I really eat, and a lot of people make fun of the bro diet, but it's actually a easy way to stick to, a solid meal plan, just like meal prepping. What it does is it eliminates the stresses of trying to think of what do I want to eat, what can I make. When you start getting overly, like, it starts getting complicated, you slip more. It's about creating these routines so that even without thinking, you already know what it is. So for me, like, I get rid of whole food groups. It's certain things I just don't deal with. Like, I'm not messing with dairy. I haven't had cheese all this year, and I've done that several times. But for me, that's letting me know, okay, if you get rid of cheese, that means pizza's off the table. It's not about trying to find a healthy, low calorie, nothing. I'm just getting rid of it. You know what I'm saying? That's me. So no cheese. I don't do bread right now. So that's like, okay, bread, cheese, that's burgers, that's pizza, that's all the things that's probably not the best thing for you right now. I love Mexican food, but I don't do cheese. So what I do is I just enjoy those flavors, you know what I'm saying? With avocado, a lot of, salsas and things like that. I do eat my rice, but, I eat once a day. So everything around that is fruit, very light snacks. I might have a can of tuna, but I stick to these food items. When it comes to my proteins, salmon and grilled chicken. I really don't eat beef. I don't eat pork at all. I eliminate things. So it just makes it to where, okay, you got less to worry about. So you can put more focus and energy on what matters. So, I'm going to leave it there, man. I can keep going about that. But, in another video, I'll discuss the whole diet thing. And, that's gotten me, a good 50 plus down, work out every day, just creating a routine for myself. So, yeah, I'm going to end it there. But I just hope, that helps somebody get through the day. Definitely want to encourage you, man. And I'll think of some little cool slogan, that I say in every video, besides dropping my website, getfreshpaint.store, by the way. I will be wearing some of my merch as I do these videos, but I just think it's more important that I get started, and that I get the message to you guys. So again, if you found any value in this video, I appreciate you tapping in and like, comment, and subscribing, and I'll holler at you. It's work.